is Toaster Racecourse in all its glory ahead of night 2 of round 2 of the Star Sports and TRC English Greyhound Derby. It was a bit cloudy earlier, but it's definitely hotting up. We are here, Gone to the Dogs Live. This is the preview show, giving you a taster of what's to come in the main show that kicks off at 6:45. I, of course, am Danny Jackson, joined this afternoon and the evening with JK. JK, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Danny. I've been watching the Derby from afar. I think it's been a great event so far, and I actually think it'll get even better tonight. I'm looking forward to some fireworks.
It's going to be good tonight. Very, very excited for this evening's action. And Jason, back again, roaming around the grounds.
Yeah, looking forward to doing that. Just a note of caution, though. Last time JK and I worked together, a channel that had been going for 12 years closed down soon after. So fingers crossed history doesn't repeat.
Everything crossed, everything crossed. Right, we had last night, of course, was a fantastic night's action for the first night of round 1. What was your particular highlight, though, JK?
I've got to say Ballinabola Joe. I'd marked up on the SIS website that he'd done the fastest back straight sectional that we've been providing, and he lived up to that. I thought the early and middle pace he showed was sensational. This was the heat of the round, of course, with the 3 fastest first round winners in there. He's been chased down by the La-di-Da, the reigning champ, who does close him right down late on, it has to be said. But I didn't think track conditions were conducive for the early paces last night. It's going to take a really, really good one to lead Ballinabola Joe if he comes out.
Ballinabola Joe, the highlight for JK. Jason, what about you?
Droopy's Bookham for me. I was very impressed last night for Tom Hilburn. Looked almost gawky in the first round, still learning the game when failing into reel in JT Craze. But this was a much better performance and a step in the right direction, albeit it did show an awful lot in that first run. Now, it was hardly a back number. It was Droopy's Aladdin who'd been so impressive in the first round who had gone on here. You could just see Droopy's Bookham still learning the game, but the penny dropped, went to the outside, showed the class that Tom Hilburn has been waxing lyrical about, and I think we go a lot further.
Droopy's Bookham, the one for Jason, and my highlight is the old boy, Churchfield Sid, who is just a credit to connections. You can see here, did the fastest split of last night with a 3:96, recorded a time of 28:95 in the end. He's all guns blazing out of the boxes. Ballymac Blanco was up there. He didn't have the early rival that we thought in Droopy's Plunge. He has qualified in 3rd place. And the other one you need to look at here is Vagar in trap 5, because she's, 10 lengths off the pace here, and she managed to qualify in 2nd place, just 2 1/4 off Churchfield Sid. But he was 4th in the Derby last year. I think he can go deep in the competition once again. He's just an absolute superstar. Right, so what have we got in... Oh, no, we're going to have a look at the outright prices first, aren't we? So Bocco's Diamond, 7-2. Cheap Sandwiches, 7-1. Bombay Pat, 10s with La-di-Da. Ballinabola Joe, 12. 16-1 Droopy's Plunge and March on Freddy. 20s bar. Of course, the main one missing there is Proper RS, who was knocked out last night. JK, who would be screaming value at the top of the market for you right now?
Well, I'm going to repeat Ballinabola Joe. I'm a little bit surprised that he hasn't shortened up a little bit more. Maybe the fact that he did come back to the field last night's got a few people questioning his stamina. I think there were mitigating circumstances on the slower going. But we get to see the front 3 in the market tonight, don't we? Bocco's Diamond, Cheap Sandwiches, Bombay Pats, and you know, what a formidable team Graham Holland has.
It doesn't he just? Right, what have we got in store for you this evening? Plenty of heats, 8 to be exact, and we start at 7:10 with heat number 9, where Solo Mio, who did provide a bit of a shock in the first round at 6-1 and put Ian Fortune at the top of the Naps table, which is always good. Not. We've also got Croker's Planet coming from the Valley, or was at the Valley, with Graham Holland now in trap 6 in the 11th heat at 7:46. Sing Along Molly, who's my nap and the eye catcher of round 1 in heat 12. Bocco's Diamond, he's in heat number 13 at 8:22. In between the 8:22 and the 8:39, we've got a little Brucey bonus for you as well, because we do have the PGR Golden Jacket final from Monmore as well. So plenty to come on the show this evening, all the way through until 9:15. And not only that, we're going to give you the 3rd round draw too. So I'll be dashing up to the restaurants who, well, not pull the names out of the hat, but tell you who has been pulled out of the tombola thing by Kim Sanzone. I don't even know what that's called, but... drum. Anyway, we are going to have a look at heat number 10 with the betting to see what's in store for us this evening with Bombay Pat. 2-7, Jake.
Yeah, and look, deservedly so. I think Bombay Pat did plenty wrong in the first round and still won a shade comfortably, whilst you'd have to say, giving the impression that he probably would have come on for the run a little bit. I'll be looking to take him on at the price, simply because 2 to 7, I always tend to look elsewhere. But this was him in the first round. Kylo's runner, then trap 2, Kevin's Rocket, were up there early. But the way that Bombay Pat swept into the lead in the back straight quickly put the race to bed. As I say, I probably thought at this stage he was going to win by a little bit further than 2.5 lengths. It was probably about 4 lengths clear turning in for home. He did just tire a little bit, but I actually don't mind that in the first round of a competition. It is a long old 6-week event, and I thought it was a great first run.
Bombay Pat's a great first run. He, of course, reached the Irish Derby semi-final as well. So looking forward to seeing him in heat number 10. What about the 746? Well, that is heat number 11 here. And we have a favourite in Barefoot on Fire at 4 to 6. Who didn't actually win in the first round. 5 to 1 Bubbly Charger, 6 to 1 No Better Feeling, 10 to 1 Kelowna Curly, 12 to 1 Swift Underwater and Croker's Planet. Barefoot on Fire, Jason, I think was a big eye catcher in the first round, wasn't he?
Huge eye catcher, but actually when you look back through the Irish form, perhaps shouldn't have been surprised quite so much. If my maths was correct, I think overall it had 29 races, only 3 times been out of the top 3. One of those was falling when in the semi-final of the national puppy competition. Ballinabola Joe, who JK and others have waxed lyrical about, is out in front here. And just look how close Barefoot on Fire gets to Ballinabola Joe, who will come on from that, of course, but it's a million miles back to the third. That's not official terminology, but could hardly have been more impressive in defeat.
Yeah, I think he went into a fair few notebooks last week, Barefoot on Fire, and he is in heat number 11. We're going to have a look at the 822 next. That is heat number 13, where got the old boy in 1, Romeo Command at 5 to 1. Kevin's Rocket, who JK is part owner of, at 25 to 1 in 2. Racket Horn Brute in 3 at 12s. Ballymac Lucia 7 to 1 in 4. 5 is 9% at 50s, and Bocco's Diamond at 4 to 11. The Irish Derby champ. Let's give us a word on Kevin's Rocket, JK.
Well, I did put an objection in about the trap draw. When Bocco's Diamond was drawn in there. Look, I was thrilled with Kevin's Rocket in the first round. He ran against a really good dog in Bombay Pat, and I thought it was more than creditable. I think he could be up there early today, but my worry would be the stronger runners might pick him off late on. But we're looking here at Bocco's Diamond, and this was, you know, just a... It was a workmanlike victory,
yeah.
But I think you mark it up because, you know, we had a dog pinging out to a 393 sectional. He had to ride a little bit of trouble. And remember, the dog that's chasing him down here is a 640 Category 1 finalist, so there's plenty of stamina there. It's only Bocco's Diamond's second run back since the Irish Derby final. Yes, I'm sure there's more brilliance to come, but it was a good, solid run. He was tested as well.
Yeah, he was. I mean, Killiford Gorham did a very fast split for him. I mean, like you say, he's usually seen as over 6 Ben. So for him to flash out in a kind of a 393, 395 split, it was unheard of, or uncharacteristic, I think.
I think if you've been doing the commentary, you'd have done well not to utter an expletive.
And then we go to the final heat of the night, the 9:15, which is heat number 16. This is just sensational. Cheap Sandwiches 8 to 13. It's 9 to 2 for Boyle Sports Bob. 13 to 2 for Faye Point Harvey. 7 to 1 JT Craze. 14's Romeo Steele and Droopy's Prefect at 33 to 1. This is just going to be a race to savour, I think, JK.
It is, and you know, even Romeo Steele at 14 to 1, you've got a greyhound there that's got unbelievable early pace. He showed that in the first round. But Cheap Sandwiches, he just looks so professional. He's just doing absolutely everything right. You can see here it wasn't perhaps the best break, but he soon got himself racing up there and into the lead. And I think what's always notable about Cheap Sandwiches, of course, was runner-up to Bocco's Diamond in the Irish Derby, is his 2 to 3. His pace from 2 to 3 is pretty awesome. I think anything would do well to keep up with him there. And was another one who was closed down a little bit later on, but you know, it's always been said you don't win a derby in the first round, but you can lose them. He got through with plenty to spare and plenty to work on.
Yeah, certainly did. Cheap Sandwiches for Graham Holland. We've got 2 Graham Holland runners in this. Paul Hennessy's got 2 as well. Jason, this is fiercely competitive, this heat.
It is, and it's an odd thing, the Derby, because as they always say, the old chestnut, you're looking to qualify. Ball spots Bob, I think even in a race as tough as this, it would take a lot to get Ball spots Bob out of it. Instantly, for those that don't know, I know a lot of people, and you two certainly know the Irish Four Cheap Sandwiches won an Irish Derby semi-final from 3 and was second to Bocco's Diamond in the final from 3, so don't worry about being a wide seed in trap 5. But because of that, because of the early dash, we'll come in. We saw what Bob did last week. If Bob doesn't qualify, I won't do a Mark Wallace and say I'll run naked round the track, but I'll be bamboozled, put it that way.
I think I would be as well, because he's got the track craft, hasn't he? You know, he's got that racing brain. You saw it last week when he's just managed to come through and beat fabulous Sonique Lake Doors, and he's gone in, he's gone out, he's had to duck and dive, and he's just a cracking race dog.
He is. The only counter-argument I would put today is that maybe barring Romeo Steele, there's some pretty strong runners there. They're not going to be stopping coming home, and he will need to bob and weave, you know, in the way that he did in the first round.
Fascinating heat to round off night 2 of round 2. We're going to have a look at some naps tonight, though, as well. We have got Ashley, who won with his Fay Point Susie last night. He's got Aero Secundai in the 7:10. Going against JK with Sole Mio in the same race. I'm with Sing Along Molly. She was a massive eye-catcher for me in the first round. And Coolio Gold, the old boy for Jason, in the 8:57. So those are your 4 naps this evening. Ashley, of course, will be on the social media side of things tonight. And before we sign off, we've got the golden jacket. Who would be your idea of the winner?
Well, obviously, you know, you don't need to be a brain surgeon to work out that Monge's Wild is going to be incredibly difficult to beat. I think there will be plenty of interest in the forecast, and I've been trying to work out the way that the race might be run to get away from maybe Bombay Nutty. I'm struggling a little bit at the moment because who's going to actually lead around the first bend? I mean, I know it's a 6-bend race, but you've got, looking at the sectionals, you've got lots of different, lots of very similar sectionals. One thing, though, the favourite, he's unbelievable when he gets into stride off that second bend. You can look here that the, I mean, Hacker Carlo was a winner here on Derby Final Night last year. He's 50-1 chance. You know, the Greyhound I'm going to suggest that might actually have the race run to suit for second is Radical Scobie. I think could be in front of the other early pacers and may well get past, likely to be passed by Monge's Wild, perhaps not so by the other early pacers.
I mean, Jason, Monge's Wild, he starts, he stays over nearly 1,000 metres here at Toaster. I mean, it's a lot shorter at Monmore, but he's got that early pace and the staying power. He's tough to beat, but... Yeah,
and that track record as well. Oddly enough, I was talking to Mike Davis, obviously, one of the owners, and last week, and I said, you know, how many are you looking to get through? And he said, oh, we'd be happy with 1. And I know that's a thing people say, but I thought, come on, man, come on. They've got the first 3 in the mark. I'm going to be more of a wimp than you. Who will win it? Mark Wallace.
He does have a stranglehold on the race, to be fair, with the 3 semi-final winners from last week. But that you will see the final at 8:31 in the later show. That's it from us for now, and we'll be back at 6:45.